Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here at Living It Country. I'm Holly, and today we have another beautiful home we get to tour today, and it's from my friend Amelie from The Suburban Home on Instagram, and she has a beautiful home that she is transforming that's a Victorian style home. So you guys are going to get lots of new ideas on decorating on a budget from her, so let's go ahead and welcome her here to the channel and go tour her home today.
Hi everyone, this is Emily from The Suburban Home, and welcome to our Victorian style farmhouse. I want to take this opportunity to thank Holly for inviting me to participate on her summer Living It Country home tours. You are in for a visual treat with the playlist she's got reserved for us, filled with inspiration. Before we head inside, I thought I'd show you a sneak peek of the gardens. It's late May right now, and in my Zone 5B, botanicals are just starting to flower. My goal is to establish a casual country cottage garden filled with cut flowers and winter interest. Our beautiful home was built in 2006 in a suburban rural area. We're about 45 minutes from our nation's capital, which is Ottawa, Ontario, and we're surrounded by woodland and crop fields. My goal here with this property and the landscaping around the home is to create beautiful country cottage gardens. Here's a few little snippets of some of the flowers that are in bloom right now. And this year we've added a lot of annuals just to add more color and to be able to bring some of those cut flowers indoors. As a Canadian, we get to experience all 4 seasons, and sometimes all in the same week. Following our harsh winters, to my husband's despair, the lawn requires a lot of nurturing. If it were up to me, I'd get rid of the lawn and plant a whole field of sunflowers. You'll notice that our garden beds are lined with stones that we've collected on the property and surrounding areas. And it's a great inexpensive way to add a border to a cottage country garden. I love adding annuals to our gardens just to be able to cut the flowers and use them in bouquets throughout the house. We will be adding some architectural interest to the home. We recently ordered some black shutters to put around the windows, and we can't wait to get those installed. Now on to the home tour. The front porch is the perfect spot for unwinding after a long day. We watch the sunset and wave to the neighbors when they're on their evening walks. I recently showcased on my Instagram stories this little garland I created using some grapevine and twinkle lights. The grapevine was collected from my in-laws' property nearby, and it just adds a lot of charm to the porch. So don't mind our very rustic stairs. Those require some TLC, and I have an upcoming idea for that project. So for the porch decor, I used this old dresser that was left behind by the previous owners. It was a white laminate dresser, gave it a red paint job. Why red? I'm not a big fan of red normally, but for the outside, I think it just adds some brightness, especially that our house is very beige. And something you need to know about me, if you don't know this already, is I'm a thrifter, second-hander, turn your trash into treasure kind of girl. There's not a lot of things in my home that's spanking brand new. I like to repurpose. I like to take fabric and turn it into something. So even this little table was a thrift find that I repainted. Just another little view of the side courtyard to the home and our property. Our whole driveway is lined by maple trees, which is absolutely gorgeous in the fall. It's filled with yellows and oranges and reds. Makes for a lot of leaves to pick up in the fall. All right, so we're being greeted by the whole gang here. Rosie, our French Bulldog mixed pug, and our cats, Onyx and Hollow. So this chair was a trash find that I repurposed into a deconstructed chair. All right, so this sofa was a secondhand giveaway from my girlfriend who was redecorating, so I took it on because I love French toile. My collection of glass floral frogs. This coffee table was an oak coffee table that was at my parents', and I took it and refinished it. Little plant stand, that's from IKEA. This window has the view to the front porch. Have some lace drapes. And even the area rug was a hand-me-down from my friend as well. This antique armoire that we purchased years ago. And I almost sold it, and I'm glad I didn't because it fits perfectly in that spot. On this little thrift find shelving unit, you'll find my collection of glass insulators and old mason jars. Some vintage books. This is what sold me to this house, was the fact that the master bedroom was on the main floor, so we can grow old in this house. I absolutely love changing bedding on my bed. This is a quilt I found at the thrift shop. It's a handmade quilt and it's just beautiful. I have the grain sack body pillow, the crystal chandelier we just added recently, and the peel and stick wallpaper, an old antique mirror, the cowhide on the floor, and this bench was made out of repurposed barnwood. And of course I have a little workstation in my room because of COVID. Normally there's just the chair in the corner and this antique armoire. Now heading back to the living room, you'll notice that I'm working on a little project right now. And I wasn't going to show you because I wanted to keep it a surprise, but I'm working on a before and after of this mantle. So don't mind the stenciling that was there before. So I have to paint that whole section. So you'll have to come and visit me on my Instagram page to see the before and after pictures. I have an old vintage mirror above the mantle that was given to us by my in-laws. And I love the use of mirrors to bounce back some of the light in the house. An old stereo. It doesn't work, but we put a Bluetooth speaker in the back so we can connect our music. And so that makes it a lot of fun. I love to collect blue and white china, and you'll see plants everywhere in my house. This is a hutch. I recently did a YouTube video on it. I gave it a whole new refresh for spring, took off the doors, gave it a new fresh coat of paint. This is called Wasabi Green, and it just holds a lot of my treasures that I found at thrift shops or antique stores, and I just love it. One of my favorite aprons, and these are black and white prints of our National Library and Parliament that I also found at a thrift shop. All right, so this dining room set that you're about to see, I've had forever, and it's changed colors so many times, but it works with our farmhouse vibe, so it's a keeper. And this mirror was a hand-me-down from a friend as well. I just kept it as is. And of course we have Betsy hanging out in our dining room. Now remember when I said our bedroom sold us on the whole house? The staircase was also something that sold us on this house. It was just beautiful, and we've never had a staircase that didn't have any carpet on it, so it was really a nice treat. This little spice cabinet was a thrift find, and I keep my flower seeds in the little bottles. Our kitchen was pretty much move-in ready. There was no island. We brought that in, and this cabinet, we brought it in to kind of create a little coffee bar. Right now I just have this dandelion poster but you might notice I've been patching holes because we're planning on painting and giving the whole main level a little wall treatment. So we might do that in the fall. And I always have some plant cuttings and propagating stations here and there. I like to give out some of my plant propagations to friends. You'll notice I don't have a backsplash, but I like using framed art pieces, and over here I have a framed recipe from Nesting with Grace. It's her bread recipe, and so I love using that type of art as my backsplash. Over the stove I have like a vintage farm print. The island was a Kijiji find. In the States I think you have Craigslist, so Kijiji is very similar. And over here's my little pantry. And this is our doorway to go to the porch, the back porch. So our back porch is east facing, so it's really nice to have breakfast and coffee out here. We get the sunshine in the morning. This table was a Kijiji find, and I refinished the chairs and the table. This console table was a built from a friend. And I have some lamps out there for evening dining. Some of my collections from when I had my shop. An old looking clock that is non-functional, it's just there for decor. This new carpet I got from Wayfair. Below on the property you can see my little vegetable garden. And I have a little two-seater there. Great little spot for reading, listening to music, listening to the birds. And this is the nice thing about living in the country. It's so quiet, and you just sit and you listen to the birds and the breeze. And I don't think I could ever go back to city life because I enjoy the tranquility. These wicker chairs were a secondhand purchase. I love using this scale in the middle of my table. I can change up the decor around it. This is the entry back from the porch to the kitchen. You can see my pot rack there over the island with my copper collection. That's just half of my collection. The other half is stored away. I kind of like to keep it a little on the lighter side for summer. Oh, there's Rosie. So this is our side entrance where we park our cars, and this is the main entrance that we use to the house. Again, this one needs a little TLC with the staircase, and whatever treatment we'll do in the front porch, we'll do the same here to the side porch. Have this old milk can with birch branches, and at Christmas I like to decorate that. And I just kept it simple. This is some vines that were growing on the property. I made a wreath out of it. Put my farmer's market sign out there. Just have an old galvanized watering can with some branches, an old crate and stool, maple sap bucket, and some terracotta pots with some faux plants because nothing would grow. It's very shaded there. So when you come in, we have a powder room, closet and the door to the garage. So this is technically our little mudroom. And this is a painting I did. Just have a little jam cabinet there to hold our keys and the dog's toys. And upstairs are 2 other bedrooms and a bathroom. So there you have it. That's an overview of our main floor. And I just thought I'd show you a few little snippets of our back property. So this is a rock garden I'm working on with my collection of hostas, and I bring in some potted plants for color. And then in the background there you see our little fire pit surrounded by boulders, and we have a rock wall all around our back porch and more hostas. All right, folks, I'm just going to end this tour by thanking Holly for inviting me to participate in her Living It Country summer home tours. So I hope you found this home tour inspiring. I hope you got a few ideas or some tips and advice on how you can create your own welcoming home without breaking the bank and keeping on budget. You'd be surprised where you can find some treasures to make your space feel inviting. With that said, I want to thank you for watching this home tour, and I'd love for you to visit my Instagram page at The Suburban Home. Again, thank you, Holly, for the invite, and have yourselves a wonderful summer. Take care, everyone.
A big thank you to Amelie for opening up her beautiful home and sharing it with us here today. I hope you guys got lots of new ideas and inspiration, and I will see you guys later on Living It Country. Bye!